On behalf of the CHAZ Health Association of Zambia, board and management and staff, I wish to thank St. Francis management for inviting CHAZ to be part of this great celebration. Today, we are celebrating the elevation of the status of the general to a status of a general hospital. We thank God for this favor and thank the Ministry of Health for this recognition. It is my prayer, however, that government allocation to St. Francis of financial, human infrastructure, and all other resources will match this elevation. Otherwise, there will be no point. Most importantly, we are here to celebrate 75 years of saving lives. 75 years of saving lives. So many lives have been saved at St. Francis, not only in this province, but from all over the country and beyond our borders. So 75 years is a big milestone of saving lives. This is a great milestone indeed. I'm happy to be here at St. Francis to celebrate with you and represent CHAZ. We give glory and honor to God. We thank God for His grace and hand on St. Francis. St. Francis Mission Hospital, just mark that I'm emphasizing on Mission Hospital. This is the identity. Because as soon as we start calling it St. Francis General Hospital, we are going to drop out Mission. It will become long, but let's not drop Mission. Because this is the identity. We are a church hospital. So St. Francis Mission General Hospital has contributed immensely to the growth of CHAZ, now and in the past. This great hospital was one of the founding members of CMAZ, CHAZ Medical Association of Zambia, now known as CHAZ. St. Francis Mission Hospital has been instrumental in the governance of CHAZ. For example, the draft constitution of CHAZ was crafted by James and Faith Keynes at this hospital. The genesis of CHAZ secretariat literally started in the home of Dr. and Mrs. James Keynes here at St. Francis, way back in the late 60s. Dr. James Keynes was the founding chairperson of the board of CHAZ Health Association, CHAZ, and served in this capacity for 13 years. After Dr. Keynes, the council also elected another chairperson, Dr. Jansen Yup. May his soul rest in peace. He also served as chairperson of the board of trustees for CHAZ for 8 years. Now St. Francis' very own Dr. Larik Banda is currently serving as a member of CHAZ board of trustees and is also chairperson of our pharmaceutical and logistics subcommittee of the board. You can see how involved St. Francis has been in the governance of CHAZ. It's provided leadership through the board, so we are very, very grateful. And I couldn't miss it for any reason. I was supposed to be on a panel discussion with the Minister of Health and others yesterday, but I couldn't miss this occasion to be here. It wouldn't make sense for me to have been in Lusaka and miss great occasion of celebrating with you 75 years of saving lives. St. Francis Mission Hospital continues to be a beacon of health, of providing quality health care in the province and in our country, providing physical, psychosocial, and spiritual support. My special tribute this afternoon goes to both the Anglican and the Catholic churches, which jointly provide oversight in this hospital. In this hospital, you see continuously the presence of the church. So I want to pay tribute to the leadership of the church. Thank you so much. We have in the membership of CHAZ some hospitals that are called mission hospitals, but you don't see the presence of the church. So in this regard, I think that the success of St. Francis partly and largely is owed to the church. So thank you very much for your presence in this church. And I know that the nurses that are trained here and in some of our other mission hospitals are on demand when they graduate. So to you nurses, I'm saying, you student nurses, and I pay tribute to your tutors too, that the training you get at mission hospitals is the best. Is the best. And anybody want to hire those that are trained in mission hospitals, partly because you're well behaved, you're hardworking, and your tutors, what they actually teach you is what you ought to be taught. So please continue to be the flags of the nursing fraternity in Zambia. My tribute also goes to St. Francis School of Nursing. Because in a way, the School of Nursing is helping to cushion the staffing at the hospital. So my tribute also goes to the management of the training school. My tribute also goes to the government of the Republic of Zambia through the Ministry of Health. I would be failing in my duty if I don't really appreciate the government, because we have sister organizations in other countries, about 40, 50 countries in Africa. We have CHAZ on Africa, but we don't have this relationship. They don't have this relationship that we have with government in Zambia. Most of those countries have come to learn, how do you get along with government? How is it that your government provide workers and running costs and essential drugs to mission hospitals? How did it happen? So we are continuously providing the lessons, and it's the best lesson in Africa. So I just want to, through this forum, to just appreciate our government through the Ministry of Health for just seconding, providing health workers, doctors, nurses, pharmacists, and all allied workers in health to mission hospitals. Because after all, mission hospitals are saving the Zambian people. Because this happened right at independence when the government of Dr. Kenneth Kaunda saw it fit to embrace church health. At the time of independence, there were more church hospitals than there were government of the day. And it was at that point that the memorandum of understanding between CMSZ and the government was established. And in the memorandum of understanding is still alive today, and there are three key issues: that health workers will be seconded to the mission hospitals, and there will be civil servants, there will be a government payroll. That essential drugs will come from central medical stores, and also the running cost. So these are the three key issues in the memorandum of understanding, and the government over the years, over the decades, has adhered to this memorandum of understanding, and we're very grateful. We do not take this for granted, because it is not by our might, but our spirit. It is by the Spirit of God. It is not by our power. So it's nothing that we're doing great. Everything is because God has purposed it to this. So we're very, very grateful. So we cherish this collaboration between the church and the government in the healthcare system. Ladies and gentlemen, and guests of honor, sir, in 25 years' time, God willing, some of us, certainly not all of us, will come here again to celebrate 100 years of St. Francis providing and saving lives. May God bless all our dedicated management and staff at St. Francis. With these few words, I thank you all, and God bless St. Francis.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Karen Chinga, the Executive Director, CHAZ.